Hello again, PCQIs, and thank you for joining us again on our All Compliance YouTube channel. In today's segment, we're going to be discussing our GMP training under the food category, personnel section, subsection cleanliness, and confining area. So let's get started, PCQIs. Let's do this.
Here we go again.
Okay, PCQIs, here we go. Cleanliness. All persons working in direct contact with food, food contact surfaces, and food packaging materials must conform to hygienic practices while on duty to the extent necessary to protect against allergen, cross-contact, and against contamination of food. The methods for maintaining cleanliness include confining the following to areas other than where food may be exposed or where equipment or utensils are washed, eating food, chewing gum, drinking beverages, or using tobacco. Okay, so as a PCQI, when we're looking at this, let's kind of first discuss eating food. So obviously these are confining areas. We're talking about break rooms, we're talking about maybe a cafeteria, or it could be an outdoor break area where, you know, our teammates can enjoy some of the sunshine while they're enjoying their snacks or meals or their break. You know, what does that look like? So obviously we have some housekeeping we need to perform as part of this program. Obviously disposing of the trash, right? That's one. You know, how often is that going to be looked at? Do you have another person that's really just taking care of that housekeeping? Do they have the proper checklist in this area in the cafeteria, right? So let's stick with the eating of the food first. So now you have to then take a look at signages where, you know, food, no food or beverages beyond this point type of signages when they're crossing over different zones. Now, if you allow water to be brought into the production line, so you have some protocols there, I highly not recommend it because of cross-contamination. But if you do have it, you need to have those policies in place. And some of the best practices I've seen, they are actually issued a washable, cleanable bottle. Well, part of that could be, you know, could be performed prior to using it. It has full identification of the person or their employee number and whatnot, right? You know, for them to utilize that, and in only in certain areas, depending on their activity, or it is set in one section of the production area where all of these, beverages or, water bottles are staged and things like that. But highly recommend don't even do it that way. Just have, just be part of their breaks and whatnot. It's just a mess, especially during an audit. I've seen agency audit actually write those up, because they're just not maintained. It's just the human factor. With our teammates, it's, caps bounce and they disappear. They go under equipment. It's just chaotic when you're just dealing with that particular function of having a water bottle, for your team. So just have those as a PCQI. So be mindful of those. Let's go back to the food section of this one, PCQI. Vending machines, right? Do you have allergen declaration for that? I know you have a signage that says no food or beverage beyond this point. What is it going to be like for your vending machine? I've seen and participated in audit where the auditor, is part of the allergen management program. You're at the vending machine. So all of those allergen needs to be identified because they have the potential of, people carrying them over. In this event, we had, an auditor check the trash bin in some of the processing area, and they would see wrappers, so obviously people were chewing gum or, eating a candy bar and things like that. So be very mindful of that, PCQI. We crossed over the chewing gum. What is your policy for that? right? And now it's going to the drinking of beverages, not allowed, right, in production areas where products are open, okay? Then you gotta have to take a look at your other process. Do you allow it in other zones where the product is already packaged? So that's something that you need to make make an assessment. So let's kind of read the requirement again. It says confining the following to areas other than where food may be exposed to where equipment or utensils are washed. Okay, so it's just not the food section, it's actually your equipment and utensils that are exposed to basically your food and beverage that you're bringing in. Okay. Using tobacco, what is your policy for vaping, smoking, smokeless tobacco, right? Or chewing tobacco, as they say. What does that look like? Are those allowed? And if they are, what are your justification for allowing it? Strictly outside. Obviously, then you have your maintenance. Now, some of your product, depending on the risk of your product, smoking, leaves a lot of residue in the smell of your clothing, your face, your hands, right? So what does that look like, okay, for you? I know you have your hand washing program, gloving and all of that. I've worked with plants where if a person smokes, they actually must wash their face as well, because that's how sensitive the material that they're handling, for that particular activity, that there's a transfer, from the smoke to the product. So again, do your hazard analysis, okay, for that. Back to the food, PCQI, refrigerators, right? So if you're in the cafeteria, obviously, you're gonna have to then take a look at that. People tend to, bring their lunch and they leave it there until the apocalypse. Right? So, things are growing, you go in there and you have this whole incubator now, right? And things are just multiplying and growing and smelling funky, okay? So what is your policy for that, PCQI, right? Do you tell everybody, okay, at the end of the day, housekeeping is gonna toss everything out of this refrigerator, or at the end of the week? What does that policy look like? Now, if you're handling multiple teams, that are in 100, 200, 300, or 1,000 employees or teammates, obviously that's a different hazard analysis, right? And you're gonna have to, as a PCQI, reevaluate these type of processes, okay? So, I'm adding that on here because of the exclusion from food and whatnot as part of our housekeeping, okay? So with that being said, PCQI, thank you for your viewership and participating in our All About Compliance channel. If you see value to these content, please share it to our fellow PCQI and food safety professionals out on the field so we can have an open discussion in food safety and our best practices. So till then, PCQI, be strong and see you later. Contact us and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, PCQIs.